Welcome, welcome. Come on in, come on in. You can be on camera, off camera. Come on in. We just ask that you mute your sound so that we don't have background noise. Hey, y'all. Hey, Brittany. Yes. Hey, come on in. Come on in. We are so excited to see you all. Welcome. Welcome to our New Moon Care. I am Erin Trent Johnson, and I am the founder and creator of Black Mama Body. And we are a social wellness technology company and community. And we are here for your generational health. We are so excited. Yes, our play, our practice, our joy is communal. And so I am so excited to be in community with my sisters, with some dynamic, incredible, brilliant, and skilled keepers of wisdom and offers of deep care. We're going to play tonight. We're going to play with the wisdom of the cosmos. We're going to play with the astrological um, guidance that is here for us now. You don't have to be an expert in astrology, trust me. She is not. And I also want to say that I am, though, deeply, deeply, deeply curious. I am astro curious. I am a learner, and I love learning with our teachers, our wisdom keepers tonight. We have Sesheta Holder and Christine, the cosmic doula from Zen Wellness Space. We also have my beloved kin, Sistren, Miki Poi, who for many of you, if you've been in any Black Mama Body spaces, especially in our deep medicine study circle and play space, you know Miki as a facilitator, as a curator of care. And from our somatic abolitionist family, you may know Miki as well, and is also as a coach. And so we're here to hold space for the embodied connection, the spiritual and somatic wisdom that comes from the cosmos, and how we can play with that to make an invitation to our bodies, to invite our bodies into a cosmic practice of care in this season. And I'm excited to invite this collective together to make this offering. We are making a soul offering. So this space is a free space. And we also are totally welcoming any love donations that you all might want to share for the gifts that are being offered today. You will see the links to each of our donation or cash and sharing links in the chat. And I will also say them verbally for the folks who will be joining us in the future, if you receive or watch this recording in the future. So feel free to send any love donations to Christine at Venmo, at Zen Wellness Space, and at Cash App at $ Christine with a capital C, ZWS, Sesheta, Venmo at Sesheta Weave, and at Cash App, Sesheta, $ Sesheta with a capital S, Weaves with a capital W. And to Miki at Venmo, at Miki Poi, capital M, capital P, Cash App, $ Miki Poi, capital M, capital P. And I will share my information at the end. Okay, so we are so excited. We're going to start off with some moon talk. Moon talk. We're coming to you live here today on December 11th. Tomorrow, we enter the new moon in Sagittarius, and the um the 1212 portal. I also want to bring that in here. And also Mercury in retrograde. So there's a lot going on in the skies and the stars and the cosmos. And our experience is also happening within the body. Our experience is the experience of the self, our relationship with the self and the body, and then our relationship with each other in interpersonal relationship. And then we also are bringing in the lens of the transpersonal, of the global, of the collective consciousness. So these experiences are all shaping, or I should say, all shaped by the astro weather, if you will. They are shaped by our context, our social political context, our spiritual context, our lineage, our embodied context. I'm in a Black mama body here on Lenape land in Philadelphia in the US. And I want to share what's important for me first in this body, in this Black mama body in the United States, within the context of war, within the context of genocide and systems of oppression, that we are here tonight to actively resist through rest and care, offering care to ourselves and offering the care to each other that allows us to be with conflict, that allows us to be with the untouchable, the deep wounding. And part of the vision that we have tonight is for us to connect with our body's deepest longings, our body's deepest longings for healing and transformation and the wisdom that exists in these bodies. And in a time of war, in a time where we may feel like we are helpless, right, to change the systems or change the decisions of the state that might be completely antithetical to our embodied values, to our spirit's longing, that we can carve out and create spaces of care that allow us to live into and in practice the freedom and in practice the liberation and practice the vision that we have for healing and transformation in this earth, in our relationship with the earth. So this is an invitation for us. So I want to invite yeah, my Astro sisters to kick us off with our conversation tonight for our moon talk. And we're going to, and the invitation as we get into this is for you to also be with what emerges. Everything that is coming up, everything that is said, everything that you hear is a somatic elicitation. I am an embodied coach for healing, liberation, and transformation, and much of my work is focused on how we reconnect and remember ourselves, our inner source of power. And so this is a practice. We get in the tiny reps every time we connect with what is our felt sense, the felt sense or the inner knowing, the inner world experience. So I invite you to pay attention to your inner world experience tonight in this body. Whatever emerges is not wrong. Okay. Hey, y'all.
I love that. Whatever emerges is not wrong. Yes. There's no wrong way to do this thing called life, right? No mistakes, right? Everything is for lessons if we're able to find the gems, the treasure in all of them. So, yeah, I just love that. Come on, Christine, let's do this.
Yes, I'm all for
Yes.
that too. Yes, I love that. I love that as well. And even just hearing you say that, we're all in this and exploring, right, the life, this well, this plane that we call Earth. And that's what I think of when I think of Sagittarius, is just being that explorer and navigating different terrains and what that looks like and what lessons can we learn from different situations. What are those lessons, either good or bad, that it has to teach us? Because we know that with everything comes a lesson. So I think that's beautiful as well.
Absolutely. The
Mhm.
seeker, right? The seeker who goes out looking. And when you stumble, you can then go back and like bring the knowledge back to others and be like, hey, don't try that. Like, don't do what I did, right? Hopefully. But some of us have to learn, our own lessons our own way. But yeah. I
For
love that.
sure. For
Yeah.
sure.
So we have this new moon in Sagittarius tomorrow, but it's like we're in the energy. It's happening now. I've heard it said that it's strongest as it's happening, and then once it's actually hit the degree and it's at its peak, then the energy starts to wane almost immediately. So we're in the height of it. We're in the thick of it right now. So I feel like everything that is present for each one of us at this moment is exactly what is the message of this new moon.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I don't know, we've been in Sag season, I feel like, for a little bit of time now, and we can kind of get an idea of what this energy is. So I am curious if we have any Sagittariuses on the call, or if you're joining us after and you are a Sagittarius. I just want to say happy solar return to you,
Yeah.
you beautiful explorer, you. My daughter is also a Sagittarius, so it's such a beautiful energy. And so just feeling into the energies that is Sag. And when I think of a Sag moon, the moon is connected to our emotions, our inner world, our inner body. And so, what can I explore inside in my inner body, whether that's my inner heart or what I'm putting into my body? Where can I navigate and kind of like it's my season of exploration, like trying different
Mhm.
cuisines, trying different studies, modalities, having new conversations. And so those are just some of the things that I think of when I think of Sagittarius and the energy, because we have double Sagittarius energy with the sun and the moon coming up. Or right now,
Exactly.
we're in it right now, right?
Yeah, and then I felt like once we left Scorpio season, I don't know, I have to think back. It feels like ages ago, even though it really wasn't that long ago.
Right?
But just thinking about as soon as I felt like the sun moved into Sag, it was like things just picked up like crazy, rapid fire. And that's pretty much the energy of the season. Like we're heading towards the middle, not even the middle, but like we're heading towards Capricorn really soon. Like I can't even believe it's happening that fast. But that's the energy of Sat. It's like constant movement, constant opportunities being presented to us. Like Christine is saying, opportunities for new experiences, new opportunities for you know meeting new people, getting out into the world. And also it's like the holiday season, right? So it's like December comes in and then there's all these events. Everybody's trying to have something somewhere, somehow. And that can be a lot. It can be so much because, we're still, I mean, I'm still getting used to being out in the world again. So, how does that feel in our body when we're getting all these invitations and everyone's expecting us to be, you know, over everything that happened? I know it was a whole 3 years ago, but technically we're still dealing with it, right? And dealing with mass media
Right.
that's telling us, oh,
Mhm.
it's coming back. And, so we all have to be inside, right? So, like, what does that look like when we're all being asked to go to all these
Yeah.
events? I actually felt a
Mhm.
way that schools were, all of a sudden expecting everyone to come back into these small auditoriums and like sit all on top of each other. I mean, I didn't think I had an issue with being around folks until, you put me inside for a little while. And then I realized that that was an issue for me. So there's all that when you're dealing with this season too. And
Can I pause you for a second, Sesheta? Because there's some
sure.
like something really potent right there. Like what
Yeah,
I
thank
just heard
you.
you name when you just said, I didn't realize until I was
Yeah.
put in this situation, right? When I was taken outside of my comfort zone, when I was called into an experience that I didn't control, and this is very much is very potent around our bodies, our wellness, and our safety in ongoing
Yes.
pandemic.
Yeah.
And I heard this like this, I didn't know this is how I felt until, and that very much is like shadow energy, right? That
Hmm.
I until my body experienced um, the edges of my comfort, I
Right.
didn't actually know where the boundary was that was crossed for my body. And so there was something in the shadow. And that really resonated for me around that Scorpio shadow energy, that
Hmm.
dark energy. And I feel like COVID and the pandemic, the loss of control, but also um the the shadow of when we're called to do things outside of our comfort zone and whether or not
Hmm.
we see choice available, like that really
Right.
emerges for me as like Scorpio lesson and that transition into I think someone just tried to call me. Transition into Sag season. So I'm wondering what emerges for y'all around that.
Yeah, what emerges for me is, Scorpio season is like excavating the truth, like getting to the deep under the carpet, the things that we may push under the rug, like finding those things and pulling them out. And Sagittarius is really okay. So now that we have this information, what are we going to do with it? Where are we going to go with it? Like, where the symbol of Sagittarius is the bow and the arrow. So the archer is also an archetype for Sagittarius season. So it's like, where are we going to go with that? And Libra, Scorpio, and Sagittarius are all, I heard, evolved in justice. And how does justice
Mhm.
look like for us? Libra is kind of like the law, like this is the law kind of justice, harmony. Scorpio is that heartfelt truth, like what do I feel emotionally, like what do I feel like is my um just for me emotionally. And then Sagittarius is like, okay, that with that justice, with that truth, where am I going? Like humanity, right? Because Sagittarius is the
Hmm.
humanitarian archetype. So how can I use that energy to show up in the world that is in a world that I see that is just, or in a world that I hope is just for me in that situation. And so that's kind of what comes up for me is like, what does justice look like, in our journey and where we are right now.
Ooh. And that brings up the word integrity for me. And I feel like that's a
Mhm.
huge Sag word. Because in seeking truth, right, the truth is not always the truth for everyone, right? We, like Christine said, we're going through these different seasons and we're finding the truth for ourselves, right? I found that
Yeah.
truth for myself, that I realized that being out in the world with all these people is not something that I necessarily want to jump back into at the speed that everyone else, that the world
Mhm.
wants me to, right? So that's my truth. That doesn't mean that's the
Yeah.
same for everyone here, right? Everyone else, some people were like excited. They're like, yes, back to normal, back to normal, right? So, I'm not going to stand on the mountaintop and be like, hear ye, everyone must stay inside, right? That's not the truth of everyone. And so that integrity of, understanding what works for yourself, which is so huge. And I feel like that's so much of what you speak about, Erin, all the time, about honoring what works for us individually, what works for our bodies, what works for us in the moment, right? Like what works for me
Yeah.
today may not be what works for me tomorrow or what worked for me last week. And so, having the opportunity to slow down gave me that opportunity to understand that I really didn't like the grind. I didn't I didn't enjoy it. I did it because
Yeah.
that's what everybody did. And so now here we are, technically going into winter season. We have the solstice coming up really soon. And to me, that's a sign of going in, right? Going in, going
Yeah.
into that hermit mode. But yet it doesn't seem that way at all. It's not that energy right now. Not Sag. Sag is like, nope, we're going to party before we,
Yeah.
we go in.
Yeah.
It's reminding me of, my 2021, these are my 20, Miki knows my 2021 Zoom dance parties when we couldn't get together. I was so itching to dance with my people. And so wanting to have dance parties on Zoom was a way that I could express myself. Um, and I really appreciate what you're saying, Sesheta, around the integrity, around the alignment with our inner world, our inner knowing, and our core values. And how, as Christine was talking about, the alignment with justice. What is justice right now? I mean, we are living in a time where where facts aren't facts, math ain't mathing, and bodies are coming up with different definitions of justice.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so there to your point around like what the world wants, there are systems that say it's time for you to get back because capitalism needs capitalism to move forward, so your safety is not a priority. The edge on in and around your body where you're noticing the discomfort is not prioritized. So how do we be with what has kept us in relationship with these systems that is outside of our comfort zone? And I'm connecting with my lessons on this. A big lesson for me coming out of Scorpio season, which is an ongoing lesson, but it got real loud, was around my caretaker self. And there's like codependent thinking. I don't want to call it codependency, but the me giving of myself before I give to myself, me trying to keep other people safe or to give other people what they need so they would potentially be available to me. And this is old wounding. So that people pleasing, which is a trauma response, to be clear, and the moving out of integrity from my needs and my care with the search, right, of seeking care, but doing it in a way that's counterintuitive. This is old wounding that I learned from Scorpio season, and I'm working with that and trying to figure out what is Sag season, what's coming up here that you all are seeing.
And if I can just say, I just love that the word integrity is being brought up because the sun and the moon and the sun are both in gate 26 in human design, which is the taming power of the great. It's also known as the sacred salesperson. And a big key word for this gate is integrity. Integrity, seeing a bright future and selling it, right? It's, we hate the icky car salesman, but what if you sell with integrity? What if you use your voice based on your values, based on your morals? How can I use my beautiful art of persuasion to help ground people in justice, in the justice that I see for our brighter future? It's knowing what to say at the right time to provoke different ideas in people, and that's exactly what we're doing in the sacred space right now, is honing in that power and kind of seeing a brighter future and honoring our integrity and seeing and sharing that. And so I just love that the word integrity is coming up because it's a big part of where the sun and the moon is traveling during this time.
I love that too. That's so beautiful. And I love that you're saying this idea of the brighter future, right? It's this invitation, like Erin says, everything is an invitation, right? The invitation to hold a beautiful vision for something that we may not see in reality in front of us at the moment, but if we can imagine it in our mind's eye, and we can imagine a time, a space where humanity can be in a conflict less environment, where we can honor each other's choices, where we can honor each other's decisions in life and be supportive and all the things, right? All the things. I could go down a whole list. You know, I have this ability to, not I have this ability, but I found that I don't like to be aware of all the chaos that's going on, right? I don't watch the news. And a lot of people, especially the older generation, they're like, you don't watch the news. It's like, oh my gosh, right? But I call it murder, death, kill. Because literally that's what I feel like that's all they talk about. And so in order to, I've recognized way before, you know, I even really dove into my spiritual journey here, that watching it was not a safe thing for me to do. So I chose not to. And I found that that has helped me to be able to hold a bigger, brighter vision for everyone, right? It doesn't necessarily mean that I'm Delulu and that I don't know that stuff is going on, right? I know stuff is happening. People come to me, they share it with me, even if I don't want to know it. People are like, you didn't hear? And then they proceed to tell me anyway. So I trust that whatever needs to find me will find me. But in the meantime, instead of focusing on all the things that are happening and going wrong, I'm choosing to focus my energy on what can be right, what justice can look like in the future. That ma'at energy, that's that Kemetic ma'at energy, which is balance, reciprocity, you know, divine justice, divine order, and trusting that everything is going to work out in the end. So that might be very woo woo, but at the same time, it's what helps me get by.
I love that. I love that. And Neptune was brought up. I have a couple of people with Neptune and Sagittarius, and I think that's so beautiful. And it makes me think of Neptune's play in this
Me and my
lunation.
sis.
Yes, you and your sis. I think that's so beautiful. And when you think of Neptune as dreaming, right? Dreaming of that better future, envisioning that better future. Neptune, they say, is a higher octave of Venus. And what is Venus? It's grounded in our values. So, grounded in our values, what can we dream of to see a better future? And in human design, Neptune is currently in gate 36 of crisis. So there is this underlying energetic frequency of crisis. But what are we doing in this crisis? We're being asked to dream of a better future, of a, humanitarian, seeing our world, our globe in a more harmonized unity way. So this is an opportunity, especially in Sag season, because I think Sag is also about just dreaming and pointing your arrow into like your
Yes,
biggest
pulling
wildest
that arrow
dream.
back.
Yeah, no matter where the crisis is right now, right? Because we know that we're in emotional crisis. And so just kind of staying calm during these, turbulent times and dreaming of a better future. So shout out to those Neptune and Sag people.
I
Yes,
think
I
that's so
love that.
beautiful, Christine. You really gave, and I am a Neptune and Sag person. And I want to name something that I thought Sesheta brought up, like that's so connected to this, right? This idea of protecting your nervous system, right? Because the news be too much. And also the news is not always newsing. So I just want to be clear on that. Um, and and so where do we get the information that helps us be connected to the real experience of crisis and raise our frequency
Yeah,
is what I'm hearing. Like I'm hearing there's a call for that. And I feel that my body feels that in this
Yes,
time that we are being called to be in a new relationship, in relating to ourselves and relating to these systems that raises the frequency. And so I'm curious about, I was talking with some folks earlier today, and we were talking about um, the possibility inside of problems. And for the coach folks who are on the call, I see y'all. For all of the folks that are able to see the unseen, right? For my spiritualists here, for those of us who are aware that we are gifted, and we all are when we tap into this power, this shadow power that we can transmute, right? And heal this wounding, that there are ways in which we can imagine and also live in the imagination, right? So how do we embody and
Mhm.
practice freedom right now? How do we embody and practice justice right now, even when it looks like it's not possible? And I feel like Sag is calling for that. But like when our hearts break open, there is this call to expand. And y'all have been teaching me and preaching with me. Like I have been receiving your messages, and so much of what Christine, what you have said about the heartfelt longing or the heartfelt desire, for me, that is expansion, that is living in this moment right now, and embodying freedom, embodying the justice, even if it's in like very tiny moments where the vision might be for generations from now, but in this moment I can embody this much of that. And I'd love to play with that with y'all and see what emerges for you
Mm.
from, yeah, from this moon.
Yeah, if I can share just really quickly, and then sorry, Sesheta, I'll let you
No,
go.
that's good. Go ahead.
Just the expansion. When I think expansion, I think Jupiter. And Jupiter right now in human design is in gate 27 of nourishment and caring. So the expansion of where we can, I feel like it's truly tribal. Even this lunation is under tribal circuitry, it's under tribal energy. We are coming together, we're talking about these things. This is nourishing ourselves. Selflessness into selfishness, right? So the past of, by taking care of myself, I am really, nurturing and caring for humanity and knowing that we're all connected. And one piece that I said with this gate and with Jupiter currently retrograde right now, but with Jupiter retrograde in gate 27 of nourishment and caring, it's like being the master chef and creating gifts of soul food. So where can we expand and where can we give soul food for the nourishment that we've created as the chef in our own kitchen? So that's kind of what's come
Mm.
up for me.
I love that. Oh my goodness. Ooh, but when both of you are talking, what I think of is like, where do we get all of that divine creativity from? It's like back to Neptune, right? But it also gives me this divine, dark feminine, the womb energy, right? Going in
Yes.
and going within, honoring self,
Yeah.
taking more time to spending more time there, because that's where we can not only cultivate the vision we want to see, but we can receive the vision that spirit wants to give us.
Yes.
So then we'll know exactly how to move forward when we're in waking form, and honor our steps, order our steps, so that we can be able to move towards where that arrow has landed, right? And I feel like the sun and the moon is, approaching the galactic center, and who knows what comes forth from that portal. And if we in this time frame spend more time in that dark womb, creating, connecting back to source, because I feel like so much of us long for connection, but what we're not realizing is that connection is first and foremost with ourselves, and then even further back is with source, and that connection is still strong. It's just, it might be dim because we've been programmed to believe that we've been separated and don't have access. But every time we meditate, every time we do yoga, every time we take 5 minutes to sip some tea and drink some coffee, those small moments when we just tap in and just listen, or we like gaze out, right? Daydream, like Trisha Hershey says all the time, daydreaming. It doesn't have to be napping, it can be sleeping, but it can be daydreaming, so that we can connect to something else, something higher and bigger than us.
Mm. Oh, y'all, I got a question, and just tell me if it flows. Because Shada, when you said that, I immediately thought of Black Moon Lilith. I'm in your what do we call it? I'm in your master class that you're both creating. And so it's coming on. And so as I'm exploring my Black Moon Lilith, and I wonder if this is also, as you were talking about that dark womb work, if this feels resonant. You all can tell me if not, but that my Black Moon Lilith healing, and mine is in Scorpio in the fifth house. Um, if that's a place for folks to play with, and or if that feels resonant as you're doing that dark womb work, go in this Sag new moon time when you're going in to expand.
Mhm.
I think yes, and I'm gonna defer to Christine because I know she has been reading about Black Moon Lilith.
Yeah, yeah,
Nerd
I
out,
have
nerd
actually.
out.
Oh, I have actually, and I'm wondering if I should pull a Black Moon Lilith card. I have
Yes,
a
I
back
think
please.
I think I feel
a
like
Black
spirit
Moon
talking.
Black Moon Lilith deck. But yeah, so Black Moon Lilith, I think it's absolutely that time because when Sesheta, you were speaking, um, and I was talking about being that master chef, like it's kind of tending to ourself and that selfishness um is like grabbing all of the ingredients. Like, what do we need? How do we even know what we need? What ingredients that we need to put into the pot so that we are fulfilled enough to share with the collective, to share with the community. And in order to get those ingredients, to know what we need, or to even divine the recipe that we need to share out with the collective, a lot of that can be exploring your Black Moon Lilith, like what they told you you should be, but what do you feel in your depths, in your soul, in your womb? What do you feel is right and is just for you? And so that's kind of what the Black Moon Lilith archetype represents. It's not being submissive and not, catering to the patriarchy or what society says, but honoring that deep, heartfelt, womb felt truth and being brazen about it, speaking your truth and showing up unapologetically. And I really do feel like that is what's going to bring us the change that we need in our society that can really really help us. So I absolutely think that connecting or exploring your Black Moon Lilith is some ingredients that you can kind of tend to or grab right now for sure, because she is a powerful force, and we all have her, whether you're whether no matter your gender or identity, we all have this dark feminine force within us that's kind of asking to be seen and to shed a light on. And what a great time during winter solstice to go into that dark space and spend some time with her. So for sure.
Absolutely. It's giving echoes of Venus and Scorpio for sure, because
Yeah, Venus and Scorpio for
yeah,
sure.
and
Hmm.
that's happening right now. Venus is in Scorpio, and that's that energy of, you know, intensity, intensity, but power, power, feminine power. And so that's what I think of when I think of Lilith. It's, yeah, she might have been cast out, but it was because she, like Christine said, it was because she refused to conform, and she spoke her mind, and she was like, this is what I want, and so y'all don't want me, bye, I'm out.
Mm.
So
Oof.
where do we need to be like,
I'm
okay,
out.
deuces, I'm
Yeah,
out.
I this is like I'm
Ooh,
so loving when you shared
ooh.
that. Oh, Christine's pulling the card.
No,
And
please
I
go
just
ahead.
want to name like Nancy, thank you.
Yes.
The folks, if you know your Black Moon Lilith placement,
Yeah, play some there.
totally share it out. Because it seems like there's definitely wisdom here for us to play with afterwards. And and Christine's gonna pull a card. Uh and for those of you who are learning about astrology or haven't done your natal chart yet, folks, where would you all recommend people to go and do their chart to learn about their Black Moon Lilith?
Yeah, I would recommend going to astro.com. And I'm actually planning on recording a video for my YouTube page on best websites to pull your natal chart and how to actually pull the settings and go through the settings. So that's coming out a little bit later, but astro.com. Shishad, are you putting it in the chat?
Great.
Correct.
Thank
Oh,
you.
thank you. Thank you. Yeah,
And you
it's
can
a
do your extended chart readings because Sesheta and Christine both just showed me how to do my extended chart because I was doing my basic natal chart.
Yeah, and so once you get in there, they're going to, if when in your extended chart, there's an option to expand into natal different asteroids, and so you would just go down into, I think it's expanded aspects, and then you would look for Lilith, and it's the Black Moon or Mean Lilith that you'll see, and so that will give you your Black Moon Lilith placement.
I just want to add that Christine can help you do that. I can also help you do that. So if you vibe with either one of our energies, all you gotta do is hit us up. We can help you do it. We can do it
Easy.
for you and help you figure out just how to start to interpret what it looks like in your life. So I just want to put that
Yes.
out there. And we'll also have opportunity to go within to that womb space because we're about to get into some movement, right, Erin?
Yes. Yes,
Yes.
we are. Miki's gonna take us there.
Yes.
And I also want to just before as we're transitioning into that, and I think Christine's gonna pull the card. So as we go into and transition into our embodiment practice, I think there's some really powerful themes that have come up. And I love how we came to the dark womb, to the void of creation, to the place that we go to the unseen, where new life, new world, new possibility is birthed. And this is a transformational space. And so often there are this is the place where the veil is thin, right? For those of you who have carried babies in your body, or those who have not, right? This is the representation again of the veil also being lifted at this time. What is emerging as we walk into this Sag new moon from the darkness, from the void, and the divine feminine and the dark feminine energy that is, I believe, so necessary for the emergence of the new just world, the just worlds that we are envisioning. That there have been um, centuries, eons of um, of power sources that are oppressive, and male and patriarchal forces, um, shadow masculine forces that are um, being called to move aside. But they're not just going to move aside. There's a little bit of move, get out the way, that I believe the dark feminine has the ability to call forth at this time. And so as we're connecting with these practices of embodiment, and as we work with Miki and we are guided um, into this practice, I invite us to connect with these themes and with the expansive possibility. And Christine, please say that soul food sentence again that is being called forth right now, the nutrition that we are all needing right now. So I'll say, Christine, if you want to share the card that is coming forth or that you are
Yeah.
pulling, and whatever
Yeah.
emerges. Yeah.
Oh, all of it. I love the alignment of all of it. And I won't take too much time, but this is good energy as we maybe flow into the yoga flow, just things to just, contemplate and think about. But the card that popped out was the Black Madonna, the sacred dark goddess mother.
Mm, mm,
So you
mm.
can just tune into that energy, and I just ask you to honor just what
Uh,
intuitively comes up for you when you see this,
That's
that
gorgeous.
dark mother, the Black Madonna, the sacred dark goddess mother. And on the bottom of the deck, and the number is 18, so that one, that initiation energy, and that 8 energy, the cycles, creating that 9, that is humanitarian energy, right? And then the bottom of the deck was Black Moon Lilith in Libra. You deserve balance. So we've been talking about balance and justice and truth, and how it kind of takes us shining a light on our own self, on our own womb space of getting to that, space of what do we need in order to show up and to give that balance, to give that truth. And so I'll just share briefly, and then let us flow because I am so ready for this. Um, the Black Madonna is controversial and is an example of how religious patriarchy has demonized the dark feminine figures. They place values on the importance of the Immaculate Conception, virginity, and the woman's role to remain pure and submissive. The Virgin Mary was packaged to represent a submission obedience, while the Black Madonna is depicted to be linked with the dark feminine strength and power. Scholars have argued that the church denial of the Virgin Mary is indeed Black, in the religious patriarchy of the way painting the dark mother of creation is subservient to the pure light. The universe is here to heal and protect you. Surrender and know it's working for your highest good. The sacred dark goddess mother.
Ashe.
Ooh,
Yes.
Ashe.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Oof.
Yes.
Uh, yes. Deep, deep gratitude. As we take that and we go into this embodiment practice, I invite us to connect with our experience, to connect with the experience of the mystery within. And as Soultar just shared in the chat, the Black Madonna kept showing up all over Europe and other parts of the world. She refused to be denied her place. Yes, yes. Dr. Christina Cleveland, if you all are not familiar, is a brilliant scholar who also has led and gone on pilgrimages finding the Black Madonnas around the world. And she has a book called God is a Black Woman. I highly recommend it. Making her place, being refused. I'm sorry, refusing to be denied. Now is the time. So I invite us to connect with this experience in our bodies with the heartfelt longing for expansion, the heartfelt longing, the body's felt sense and knowing of possibility that lives in the shadow, that will not be colonized and demonized by these systems that were created. And so they can be recreated and reimagined, starting in these bodies. What is being birthed now? I pass it on to Miki. Thank you, Christine and Sesheta, for this incredible, incredible conversation that we will continue. Yes. Yes.
Thank you so much, the three of you, for sharing. I'm a newbie to astrology. I'm also astro curious. And so thank you to the three of you for sharing context into what is going on, and for the participants who also added in their knowledge into the chat. We'll be moving for about 20 minutes. And as with Surface, this new moon is about embodying the change that you want to see, and honoring what works for you, what's right for you, what's right for your body tonight. So everything that I share is an invitation. It is not an obligation. You can lay in Shavasana the whole time if you want, or you can move with me. I'll also be giving lots of modifications so that you can access each of the poses that we do. We'll be doing a sequence of poses in a round to a peak pose, and then back around again to the beginning in a cycle. We'll be going in to expand, and we'll be paying homage to the lunar energy that is in nature, that's within all of us, by practicing Chandra Namaskar, or the moon salutation. When practiced with devotion and gratitude for the divine feminine, this may feel like a full body prayer. My cat will also be joining us, so don't mind the sound as he joins and he harasses me. So I'm going to move back here. You can set up your space as well. I've got a bolster, I have blocks, I've got my cat, I've got a blanket, I've got a chair. All of these can support our movement for tonight. So I'll give folks a few minutes to get set up. This is Franklin. To pull out what you need to practice. Get comfortable in whatever shape your body wants to take. Maybe seated, with your hips a little above your knees. That may be with your legs straight out. That may be laying down. And as we start to settle in, and place your hands down on your knees if grounding energy is what you want to bring into this practice, or you can place your hands up for receptivity if that's the energy you want to bring in. I know, Bubba. We'll start to just notice the breath. Taking a deep breath in through the nose and softly exhaling through parted lips. A good reminder as I turn around that tonight is also my mother's birthday. She's no longer with us on this plane, and so I'm bringing her energy in the room as well, dedicating this practice to her. Just taking a few rounds of gentle breath, no effort, or as little as you can offer to the breath. If it feels comfortable, closing the eyes or gently softening the gaze, whatever makes your body feel safe and comfortable. Deep breath in, deep and wide, feeling the belly expand. And as you exhale, offering the breath up and out and all around you. The short practice will warm up the body slowly. We'll start with a few neck rolls. You can blink open the eyes if you like, or keep your eyes closed for this part. But we'll begin by dropping your chin to your left shoulder first. Feeling a gentle stretch on the right side of the neck. And as we inhale, take the chin up in a rainbow and around to the right chin and the right shoulder. Inhale, take the chin up again, and halfway transition to exhale, moving at the pace of your own breath, not the sound of my voice. And just noticing what a different perspective brings to you, what shifts in your body as you settle your eyes, different points around you. Just taking the neck and chin in a few rainbows in and out with the breath. When you feel ready, bring the chin back to center. Next, we'll take a few rounds of cat-cow. You can come to your knees if that feels comfortable, or you can stay seated if your wrists and knees need a bit of a break. I'm going to take this first round from tabletop position, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. I'll also show what this looks like seated. On an inhale, drop your belly down towards your mat and lift your gaze up to the ceiling. And on an exhale, arch the back like a Halloween cat. Gaze between the hands, pushing through the arms and the palms. Inhale, take another round just like that, belly down, gaze up. And on your exhale, round the back. Take a few more rounds just like that. And if your wrists need a break, you can place your hands on your knees. And as you inhale, pull the chest forward, shoulders back, head up. And as you exhale, round the spine, pushing the bottom of the ribs back, and drop the head. Move at your own pace for 5 or 6 rounds, warming up the spine, warming up the Ida and the Pingala, the masculine and feminine energy channels that run along our spine. And if it feels good, you may also rotate around in a circle, maybe taking the hips back towards the heels a few times. Do what feels good for your body. Linking breath to movement and movement to breath. When you feel ready, come back to center, to tabletop. And we're going to come to a stand. We'll first start in Tadasana, mountain pose. Feet under hips. Hands can be at your side, palms facing forward, shoulders up and back. Or you can bring your hands into Namaskar, into Anjali Mudra, prayer position in front of your heart. Resting your thumbs on your sternum. Noticing the rise and fall of your chest as you breathe. On your inhale, we'll take the arms down and up, taking the hands overhead. Pointing the index fingers, weaving the fingers together so that your hands are pointing up. And we're going to take half moon, standing half moon. So inhale, feel the energy move up from the ground through your legs, pointing up towards the ceiling as you grow a little taller. And we'll take some gentle side to side movement. Left, right, gently warm up the spine sideways. We've moved it backwards and forwards, and now we'll move it side to side. We'll come back to center and take one more inhale to stretch, and then we'll push the hips gently to the left as we bring the upper body down, arms by the ears. You can go as far as your body allows you to go. Push the hips forward, squeeze the tush, keep the legs strong. Maybe even lean slightly back into your heart space. Take 2 breaths here. On your next inhale, come on back up to center. And we'll take it to the other side. Push your right hips to the right. Bring your upper body down to the left. We're not collapsing into the left side. We're actually lifting up through the right body as we bend down to the left. Push the hips forward and lean back into the heart space. 2 breaths. Your next inhale, come on up to center. And the next pose we'll take is Goddess Pose, one of my favorites. If your knees are feeling a little weak, I'll also show this with a chair as a modification. My knees get tired by the end of the day. We'll take Goddess Pose, Utthita Konasana. So we'll step your feet wide and turn your toes towards the long edges of your mat, like we're about to do a sumo squat. Inhale and sink into that squat, pressing up through the heels, and we'll cactus the arms out. If that feels like a lot of pressure on your knees, you can keep your hands on your thighs. You can also do this while seated on a chair and just spread the legs and cactus the arms. So take that where you need it today, whatever feels good for your body. From here, you might play a little bit with lifting the heels, maybe one at a time, maybe both. Breathe here. Just expand. Heart space expand. On your next breath, inhale, press through the heels. Take your arms, straighten the legs, and take your arms out almost to a Y. We'll be here in star pose. Feel the blood recirculating through your legs, maybe even squeezing the heels slightly towards each other. 2 breaths. Our next pose we'll take is Trikonasana, triangle pose. So leaving your right leg where it is, turn your left leg so that it's parallel with the back of the mat, and maybe even turn it slightly in a little bit more. For this pose, I really like to use a block to bring the ground a little closer to me as a modification. You also can use a chair if you want to sit underneath you. From here, we'll take the arms wide, chest open wide. Inhale, tip towards the right, maybe bringing the hand to a block. Top arm can come up towards the sky or can rest on the hip. You can keep the gaze down towards the ground for grounding, or you can turn your eyes up towards your fingertips, up towards the ceiling. Feeling your arms stretch wide, your right fingertips down towards the ground as your left fingertips maybe stretch 1 inch higher towards the ceiling. Squeezing the legs together, stretching the arms wide. Your next inhale, come on up. We'll take the block, move it out of the way. I'm going to frame my front foot with 2 blocks and turn my back foot to face the same direction for pyramid pose. So both legs are as straight as feels comfortable. If that's too much on your hamstring, you come up a little bit onto your toes. You can frame the front foot with blocks. You can put your hands on the ground. You can put your chair in front of you to support yourself. So we'll take a breath here in pyramid pose. Inhale to lengthen the spine, and exhale to bend a little deeper over the front leg. Feels good. You may even soften the back heel down towards the ground to get a little more stretch in the back of the left leg. For our next inhale, we are going to rotate towards the long edge of the mat. We're going to take a low side lunge. It may help to bring a block underneath you to sit on, if that feels comfortable. On your inhale, put both of your hands on the inside of your right foot. Take your left foot, maybe walk it a little further out and see where your hips go. Again, that's a lot of stretch, you can sit on a block like this. And also sit on a chair and take one of your legs out. Feel the stretch on the inside of your left thigh. Breathe here for 3 breaths. Your next inhale, lift the hips, walk the feet as close as you need it to be able to turn your feet back out and come into a low squat, Malasana Yogi squat. Lower the tailbone. If your hips are tight, you may want to sit on a block or on a bolster. Whatever feels good for you. You're going to bring your upper arms to the insides of your knees, pressing your elbows against the inside of your knees and bring your palms together in prayer position. Inhale, feeling your elbows press against your knees, knees against your elbows, and exhale to lower your tailbone far back as it feels comfortable. If this is a little tight, it may also help to take a blanket and place them behind your knees as well. That'll give you a little more support. At our middle pose, so we're going to reverse it out. Malasana. Place the hands on the ground. Walk your left foot and your hands further to the left. Extend your right leg long. Take any of the modifications I offered. Take your right toes up towards the ceiling. Hands in prayer, if that feels comfortable. We'll breathe here for Skandasana, low side lunge. Remember, you can rest your hands on a block in front of you, one tush cheek in a chair. Inhale, place your hands down, lift the hips. We'll rotate towards the back of our mat. Both feet facing in the same direction. I'm taking my blocks again to frame my front foot. Give me a little less tension in the back of my legs, which can get really tight. On an inhale, squeeze the legs towards each other, bringing the right hip forward slightly, left hip back. And as you exhale, bend over the front leg for pyramid pose. Deep as you can, or as shallow as you need. Inhale, we'll straighten up. Move the block to the inside of your left foot, and we'll rotate the back foot so it's parallel with the back of the mat, and then turn the toes in slightly. We'll take pyramid pose on the other side. From here, if it feels comfortable, take the right shoulder up and back and keep the hand on your hip, or lift your fingertips towards the ceiling. Gaze in whichever direction it supports your balance. Squeezing the legs together, lifting through the right side of the body. As you take your left fingertips or press your left hand into the block down towards the ground. Take a slight lean back into your heart space and breathe here. And inhale, unwind, move the block out of the way. Turn the toes to face alongside the mat. Inhale, arms will come up into a Y for star pose. Bring the bottom of the ribs back, shoulders up and back. Maybe pulling the shoulders a little farther away from the ears. We'll turn the toes back out to a sumo squat position towards the short edges of the mat. Exhale to bring the hands back into prayer or to cactus arms, and we'll drop down back into goddess pose. Feeling the thighs and knees energetically moving towards each other while keeping a deep squat. Shoulders up and back, chest open. Breath. On your inhale, take the arms up overhead, bring the feet back together. Interlace the fingers, maybe interlace them the opposite way that you did last time. May feel a little awkward. Point the index fingers to the ceiling. Squeeze the tush. Press down through the legs. And we'll take half moon by pressing the left hips to the left and bring the upper body down to the right. Keeping the legs strong and engaged, leaning slightly back, arms by your ears, and breathe. As you inhale, maybe feeling a slight lift, and as you exhale, can you bend a little deeper into the pose? And inhale, come on up. We'll take it to the other side. Right hips to the right, upper body to the left, keeping the hips pressing forward, shoulders back, head back, and breathe. Your next inhale, coming back to center. Release the arms by your side. Feel all four corners of your feet ground into the mat. Shoulders up and back, bottom of the ribs back. Chin up, chest open. And just feeling the energy of mountain pose. Maybe noticing what, if anything, has shifted in your body for our cycle of the moon salutation. What in that movement surprised you? Where did you explore? Where did you go inward? What moved through you? We'll take our practice down to the ground for one last pose. before we move into Shavasana. We'll take child's pose, which if you have tight hips, it may help to put, again, a blanket under the knees. It may help to sit on a block. Take the knees as wide as the mat, toes come to touch. That does feel too intense for the knees or for the hips. You can also lay on your back and hug the knees, or you can join me by taking the upper body down, forehead down to the ground. Arms can be stretched out. Arms can also be folded. You can rest your hands, your forehead on your hands, or arms can be by your side. We're going to rest the space in our forehead on the mat or on our hands to activate the third eye, the Ajna chakra. Maybe even taking the gaze as your eyes are closed towards the space in between your eyebrows, slightly in, slightly up. Taking a deep breath in, feeling it expand across the back body. And as you exhale, feeling your heart soften towards the mat. When you're ready, come back up to tabletop and then gently roll onto our back, getting your body as comfortable as you would like. That may be putting a blanket on, and maybe resting on a pillow, and maybe putting blocks under your knees. But get yourself as humanly comfortable as possible so that you can rest in Shavasana. If it feels safe and comfortable, you can close the eyes and gently soften the gaze. Take a deep breath in and release the practice that was, present with what is here now. This is a moment to release any of the shadow sides of Sagittarius. Might include being so attached to your beliefs that you impose them on others, maybe being restless, maybe having difficulty with being present and connecting with around you. There's no judgment. But use this time to walk through the doors of possibility and let go of the potential fears of what may or may not happen in the future. Setting an intention to let your beliefs push you forward to that future, to that vision of justice. As you relax, I'll hand this practice over to Sesheta, who will lead you through Shavasana with the sound healing.
So continue breathing
You may
normally at a pace that feels good. Continue to feel safe, supported by the ground beneath you if you're laying on the ground, or on your couch if you chose to lay on your couch. You are safe, you are supported. You will hear the sound of my bell at the beginning and at the end. I'll see you on the other side. When you feel ready, you can return into your body. Feel the surface beneath you. Begin to wiggle your toes, stretch your fingers, give your body a gentle stretch. Feel yourself really back in the present now. And when you're ready, and you feel ready to sit up, I encourage you to write or draw or jot down anything that resonated with you throughout your time in Shavasana, throughout your time through this whole session. We'll give you time to write now, and then we'll come back and share. And when you're back, you can let us know in the chat.
Thank you, Sesheta. I just want to just make an invitation in your reflections, in your scribing, whether you're drawing, making art, or just sharing the experience that is embodied. This is an invitation to connect with the vibrations and the energy of this experience, with the images and the messages that are coming to you. Any urges, movements, behaviors in and around your body. To connect with the emotion, the feelings, and the senses, all of the senses, the sensation, the texture, the charge, the constriction. What is the felt sense in and around your body? Explore.
I'm going to play while people are writing. I just feel like there should be some music. We didn't talk about this.
more minutes sound like enough time?
Okay. So you can certainly continue your journaling practice, your creative expression practice. I invite you to take this into any ritual that you might engage with tomorrow on the new moon. And before we close, I think it'd be great to oh, thank you, V. Thank you, Brittany. Brittany says, what a treat this has been. Thank y'all so much. Thank you. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for being here. Yes, and a welcome back, Christine. Yes. And it'd be great maybe if anyone wants to share any reflections or any of their Sag excitement for a new world. What are we creating? What are we birthing? What is coming forth? Thank you, Tracy. Yes, Tracy says, yes, thank you all. What's emerging? And if you see in the chat, Christine has also shared the Black Moon Lilith card of the Black Madonna. So you can see that if you're in the chat. And the Black Moon Lilith in Libra. It reminds us that we deserve balance. That definitely was a theme that emerged for me around what is the balance. I think one of the shadows, correct me if I'm wrong, of Sag can also be overconsumption. And I am very much connecting with the process of digestion. For y'all who play with us and play with me a lot, I spend a lot of time with the gut and digestion as an experience of transformation, the body's experiential center of transformation. And so I'm really connecting with what is healthy consumption, absorption, metabolism, and release. Where are we finding and creating more balance in those processes? What are we taking in? What that is allowing us to be nourished by that soul food that Christine was referring to. And that is a question. So I'm thinking about that. You deserve balance. Thank you, Christine. That card. So yeah, what wild dreams. You don't have to act on them today, because that's what I'm hearing, right? We don't have to act on them today. But what's coming through? Oh, and Sesheta and Miki, thank you. Y'all, I am like totally ready to get in my bed. I've got to be, I'm like,
I just wanted to share that I pulled from the Moonology deck prior to us going into the movement, and the message that I got for all of us is be bold and make the first move, cardinal moon, and take time. The card underneath was take time to breathe out, the disseminating moon. And I feel like it totally sums up everything we were talking about, right? Be bold and make that first move. Cardinal moon is talking about Libra. Libra is a cardinal moon, Black Moon and Lilith, right? Take that first move, be a leader in taking care of yourself and finding that balance. And do that by taking time to breathe out. Everything that we did today was an example of something you could do in small bites and every day. Not everything all at once. Clearly, you may not have all the time in the world, but doing one small thing each day can help us to be a better creator of what we want to see.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And that, you
I
said
love
that's the
that.
Moonology deck?
Moonology. Yep.
I'm making my Kwanzaa list.
Ah, yeah. I love that so much. And the breathing out, I was just in picturing, that goddess pose, your favorite pose, and just allowing our emotions to breathe out, right? When we're in that space, it's just kind of an opening for us, and it's an invitation. I know I feel that when I'm in that pose. And Sagittarius rules the hips and that womb space, right? The hips and the thighs, it's like connected to that womb space. So
So as,
really,
yes.
mhm. So really allowing, as we're excavating and finding our deep felt truth in that space, breathing out, allowing ourselves to breathe. So maybe remember the goddess pose that Miki shared with us and some of the beautiful flow, because I feel like that can be really nurturing. It just really supported our lunation, or this lunation that we're in, as we're envisioning, because it's a lot. It's a lot, right? It could seem like a lot, our visions and our goals, but if we could just breathe and step into our goddess pose, know that we are the divine mother, we can heal, and we can birth new creations in the world. um,
Mm-hmm.
Ashe. Yes. Hmm. Would anyone in our community want to share a reflection or something that's emerging for you that you want to send out into the universe before we close? That's totally fine. We've gone inward. And I think it's a great way for us to kind of close out with maybe, I don't know, what do y'all think? A final longing or something that is emerging for us that we'd like to close out with. And this might be a wish. I'm feeling wishy. I'm feeling like that's what, not wishy-washy, um, but big, bold, wishy. And maybe that's that be bold that Sesheta speaking, so I'm Cancer rising and Pisces moon. I am very much this watery mother energy. And so I'm very much connecting with um the be bold energy. And I'm feeling like a tidal wave pushing me forward in this season, and surrendering while that tidal wave pushes me forward into the unknown. Hey, listen, yes, Tracy's also a Cancer rising. And Brittany, we gotta triad, y'all. Yes. Wow. We have much to connect on. Yes. Yes, but that good mother energy, that mother energy, right? And so I'm riding the wave. I think that for me feels very much where we are embracing as we've been talking about, like being in the crisis, being able to embody um, uh, both surrender and also being carried by faith, carried by the wild possibility of the unknown forth to and living that, embodying that now in the unknown, knowing that something greater is possible.
Y'all know it makes me want to ring a bell. Totally agree. I love it.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Okay. Any one words from my crew before we close out? Anything that's on your heart that you want to send out into the universe?
Sure, I saw Christine turn, and the word that came to mind when I saw you turn, Christine, was peace. And I'm feeling such a deep sense of peace from this time together. And as I mentioned, it's such an important day that it feels like such a gift to be integrating peace into my spirit. Word I'll leave with.
Mm-hmm.
I'm holding on to that word surrender. Surrendering into knowing that we have power, even if it seems like we don't. We always have the power.
Yes.
For me, it's explore different ways of doing things, of nurturing ourselves, of interacting with others. It's explore for me. Experiment and explore.
I love it. Well, with that, I just want to thank you all for joining us. We are going to keep going. So you ain't seen the last of this collective, this group. We are entering into our winter rest season. The solstice is next week. And we will definitely be back in 2024 with this Gregorian New Year. I want to just remind everyone that we have the links for any heart offerings you'd like to make to Christine, Venmo at Zen Wellness Space, PayPal. That's Venmo and PayPal, and Cash App at $Christine ZWS. That's capital C Christine, capital ZWS. Sesheta at Venmo and PayPal at Sesheta Weaves, capital S, capital W, and that's Weaves with an S on the end. And Cash App $Sesheta Weaves, same capital S, capital W. Miki is Venmo at Miki Poi, Cash App $Miki Poi. And if you'd like to send me a heart offering, please do at Cash App $E.T. Johnson, or Venmo at Aaron-Johnson-46. We are so excited to enter into this new season with you all. Please take this opportunity to place yourselves in the center of care. That's our vision for all Black mama body experiences and spaces, so that we can create and co-create generational health. Big love and new moon joy to you all. Take good care.